actually, it's still another place poem, and even though it's not summer, it's the only one I've written so far on the boardwalk. I have all these plans on writing poems about the boardwalk, and I haven't gotten around to it. And all the stories there and things. So this one is the first one I've written. It's called Boardwalk Number 1. So it begins. The summer pulse on Venice Boardwalk. I walk towards the pier, passing tattoo bodies, sun bodies, muscle bodies, wrinkled bodies, new bodies. I breeze past 2 Latino women, their shopping carts lined in black, selling bouquets of watermelon, papaya, cucumber, in long, thin strips. The vendors are in place, the buskers are ready to perform, on glass, on stilts, with fire and knives, and the tourists arrive eternally. I reach the pier, noting a Latino man hurriedly leaving his steel cart, neatly packed with his fishing gear. "That's what the homeless need," exclaims another Caucasian man to his friend, pointing at the fisherman's stylish cart. I pause to ponder this man's solution for the homeless: better carts. Oh. I wanted to say something, anything, to the happy, stupid man, but he has already dissolved into the crowd, taking his Better Carts for the Homeless campaign with him. God. Still the pulse goes on with the pleasures of the boardwalk, prepared by the desperate, the creative, the independent, and the damned. So come on over. Get your name engraved on a grain of sand. Let Zoltar tell you your fortune for $1. There's enough chaos here for all to feast on, now that summer is back on Venice Boardwalk again. Wow. So I wanted to, one of the experiences of writing and submitting is rejection. And I have quite a few very mean, sarcastic rejection poems at home. But I feel like it is part of the experience of writing, whether we like it or not. And so I wanted to include one of these in my reading tonight. And this was a rejection letter I received from the Sun magazine, which I do love the magazine. It's a great magazine. And I wrote a poem after I got the rejection. This is what it's called, Rejection Letter from the Sun. I decided to submit to the Sun magazine for no other reason than I liked the name. The journal came from a state I had lived in, and they actually paid for poetry. After 6 months of waiting, I finally heard an answer. "Thanks for sending us your work. You're not right for the Sun." This isn't a reflection on your writing. We pick 1 out of 100. We don't know why. We rarely respond personally to submissions. A form letter doesn't speak to that need to show merit for your hard work. But please know we appreciate your interest in our magazine. In short, I told myself my writing sucked, did not even merit a personal response, yet I should not feel badly. The Sun rejected me, politely, so I would continue to buy their journal. The Sun rejected me. Maybe they should consider changing the name of their goddamn journal. I still feel that way. All right, so that's that section. The other areas I really like to write about are nature, and I'm a big bird lover. As many of you that know me know, I have a rescued crow, and I love feeding the birds outside, and I love watching them. And they're just endless things that you can write about the natural world, but I particularly like birds. So this one is called house finches, and I don't know if you know, the house finches are really pretty. They're either striped or they have these bright red breasts, and they'll come to your feeder in Venice, and very beautiful little birds. So it's called house finches. She comes to the bird feeder after moments of watching from above, amidst wire and sky. She lands lightly, revealing a bosom of dark stripes, beautiful as a girl's new breast. She watches and eats, moving all the day long, her head slightly to the side. Sometimes her mate risks the feeder first, his red head and chest exposed as a saint stigmata. He stares at me, then eats, once pulling his body taut to sing forth his song. And what a song! Tell me then, friends, why is the world so full of horror when daily the house finches feed? And one of my favorite poets is still Charles Bukowski. And anyone that has, I have to say, he kind of rescued me from sort of a depression around modern poetry. And I really appreciate that. But one of his poems I really liked is called The Bluebird. And I don't know if any of you have read it, but it's this beautiful little poem about how he has a bluebird inside him and he keeps trying to deny it by smoking and putting alcohol on it. And it's a very sweet and tender poem. It actually makes me cry every time I read it. And so I wrote this in response to that poem, and it's called Letting Bluebird Out. When you let Bluebird out, it is true, there is always danger. Underneath the hawthorn where he makes his nest, snake could be considering his breakfast. High in the sky, eagle could gaze down and decide it is time for another snack. At night, raccoon could rub his hands and say, yum, yum, just before he climbs the tree to invade Bluebird's nest. Yes, Bluebird, with his cloak of opal fire, has many a nuisance to face each day when he greets the sun. Sun, he sings, hopping from limb to limb, thank you for waking me another morning. Thank you for the luminous arm you stretch through my uncertain world. And what if you choose not to let Bluebird out? How then would you taste the red chokeberries blooming in the five-petaled flowers? How then would you learn the secret of the night-wave ceremony, or that, like Bluebird, you are a descendant from an ancient goddess? Go then, let Bluebird out. Though he cannot dive like eagle, or shed his skin like snake, or mask himself like raccoon, when he flies, he paints the sky with all his blues and disappears into the work he creates. And that's the thing I like about Bukowski's work, is that in spite of what some people think of him, he is not an egotist or a narcissist. He truly enjoys writing about other people and their stories. And I found that just so delightful. And he had also so much humor in his work that I laughed a lot when reading his work. I think I have time for one more. So let's see, what shall I end with?
You're just beginning.
I'm just beginning. Well, the other areas I like to write about, I do like to write about mysteries, and I like to write about love, but maybe not in such a romantic way, though I did when I was younger. So I'll leave you with this last poem. It's the first poem I've really written about aging, and that I like, actually, that I'll read. It's called Desire Remains, Memory Distorts. It is easier watching my body grow older, since when I was all fire and moonstone, I loved the beautiful men. It is easier, of course, because memories continually entertain. Easier because a secret confidence tells me my body was fully revealed at a ripest time. What I mean is the body remembers despite the age and is filled at once with amazement and angst. What I mean is desire remains, memory distorts, and even when I fight it, the heart continues to pound out its own fierce way. Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah.